Most men are forgotten the moment they leave. Their names fade, their faces blur, and before long, it's as if they never existed at all. But then, there are others, rare men, who leave an imprint that lasts a lifetime, long after the words are spoken, long after the moments have passed, long after the door has closed. These men live on in memory. Why? Not because of wealth, status, or appearance. Those things fade quickly. They are remembered because of the way they carried themselves, the way they lived, the way they held to principles that most men abandon. These men live by laws older than empires, carved from the philosophy of Stoicism, yet more relevant now than ever. While most men bend and break in the chaos of modern life, the Stoic man stands firm. He is the one who leaves a permanent mark, not only in the heart of a woman, but in the respect of other men and the legacy of his own life. In this video, you'll uncover the 6 Stoic laws that make any man unforgettable. Ancient principles reshaped for the modern world. They are not tricks or tactics. They are truths. Live them, and you will not only stand apart, you will stand forever. By the end, you will understand why these 6 timeless laws turn an ordinary man into a man who cannot be erased, not by time, not by memory, not by life itself. Law 1, the law of composure. Chaos exposes character. It is easy to appear strong when the skies are clear, but when the storm breaks, the truth of a man is revealed. Most men crack under pressure. They lose their temper, lash out in anger, or collapse into panic. They speak before thinking, act before reasoning, and in those moments, they reveal weakness that cannot be unseen. But the Stoic man, the unforgettable man, remains unshaken. He does not let the chaos dictate his emotions. He does not let provocation strip him of his center. His calmness radiates strength, like a fortress untouched by the storm that rages outside. This composure is not passivity. It is discipline. It is the decision to master oneself before attempting to master anything else. While others flinch, argue, or explode, he stands still, and that stillness commands attention. It says, without words, "I am in control." Every woman notices when a man refuses to be rattled. She may forget the man who shouted, the man who pleaded, or the man who broke down, but she never forgets the man who met her test with calm eyes and steady breath, because in that moment, she saw something rare, true power under restraint. And it is not only women who notice. The law of composure earns respect from everyone, friends, rivals, strangers. A man who can hold his ground when emotions run high becomes the man others look to for stability. Storms will always come. Pressure will always rise. But the man who keeps his composure proves that no storm, no test, and no chaos can shake the foundation of who he is. That is the kind of man the world cannot forget. Law 2, the law of self-respect. Respect is not given, it is commanded. Yet most men fail here. They chase validation, desperate for approval. They over-explain themselves, beg for attention, and twist their identity to fit the expectations of others. For a moment, it may seem to work, but soon they are forgotten. Why? Because no one remembers the man who begged to be seen. The Stoic man is different. He does not beg, he does not plead, and he does not bargain for respect. He builds it. He earns it through the quiet strength of his standards, by holding boundaries, by refusing to compromise on his values, by showing in every decision that his self-worth does not depend on the approval of anyone else. This is the law of self-respect, to stand so firmly in who you are that others have no choice but to recognize it. When a man respects himself, it shows in how he speaks, how he moves, how he treats others, and how he refuses to accept less than what aligns with his standards. A woman may forget the man who showered her with compliments, who bent over backwards to win her attention, but she never forgets the man who, without arrogance, demanded respect through the way he lived. That kind of presence burns into memory because it is rare, and this law extends beyond relationships. Colleagues, friends, even strangers, all remember the man who valued himself enough to walk with dignity, no matter the cost. Respect that comes from within cannot be taken away, because it was never borrowed in the first place. Live by the law of self-respect, and you will not need to chase recognition. you will become the kind of man who commands it, effortlessly. And that is the kind of man who is never forgotten. Law 3. The law of walking away. A man's silence can echo louder than 1,000 arguments. Most men do not understand this. When disrespected, they fight for validation. They raise their voices, launch into explanations, or try to win back ground that should never have been lost in the first place. Some beg to be understood. Others argue to prove their worth. But all of it leads to the same outcome: dignity surrendered. The Stoic man does the opposite. When disrespect crosses the line, he does not debate. He does not plead. He does not linger in places where his value is questioned. He simply walks away. Not with bitterness, not with anger, but with quiet resolve. That silence cuts deeper than any shouted word, because it carries a truth that cannot be ignored. I will not stay where I am not respected. This is strength in its purest form. Strength is not clinging to what diminishes you. Strength is letting go, without apology, without hesitation. And that act leaves a mark. Women never forget the man who had the courage to leave, without looking back. Because most men can't. Most men stay, hoping disrespect will change into love, hoping they can argue their way into value. But walking away with dignity, that is unforgettable. It is the kind of silence that lingers. Long after you're gone, the echo of that choice remains. It is not drama she remembers. It is the dignity. And dignity is rare. Law 4. The law of purpose. A man without purpose is a man without gravity. He drifts, pulled into the orbit of others, easily controlled, easily forgotten. This is the tragedy of most men. Their entire world revolves around a woman, or fleeting pleasures, or distractions that consume their time but give nothing back. They live small, and because of that, they leave no lasting impression. The Stoic man is different. He has a mission, a direction that defines him. His life is not centered on chasing approval, but on building something greater than himself. It may be his craft, his discipline, his vision for the future. Whatever it is, it anchors him. It gives him weight. It gives him gravity. Women never forget this kind of man, because when she meets him, she feels it. His purpose burns brighter than desire. He is not chasing her. He is chasing something eternal, and she can feel the fire of that vision every time she's near him. And even if she leaves, or even if life takes her far away, she remembers. Because purpose is magnetic. It pulls respect, admiration, and memory into its orbit. A man without purpose fades, but a man with vision becomes unforgettable. He becomes the standard she measures others against. He becomes the man whose presence lingers long after he is gone. That is the law of purpose. Live for something greater, and you will never be forgotten. Law 5. The law of discipline. Power is not in speaking, it's in restraint. Anyone can lose their temper. Anyone can speak without thinking, spit out words that can never be taken back. That requires no strength at all. But the Stoic man knows that true mastery begins with self-control. To hold the tongue when anger burns, to remain still when provoked, to speak only when words carry weight. That is discipline. Discipline is not silence for its own sake. It is silence with intention. It is the man who knows when to speak and when not to. It is the man who refuses to be ruled by impulse, who can hold back when lesser men erupt. This kind of restraint leaves a deep impression, because in a world of noise, the man who speaks little, but with power, stands apart. His words are remembered because they are rare. His silence is respected because it is chosen. And discipline goes further than words. It shapes habits, emotions, and daily actions. The Stoic man does not indulge every whim. He does not chase every desire. He directs his energy with precision, living with consistency and focus. Women never forget this kind of man, because his discipline shows something deeper, self-mastery. He is not at the mercy of moods, temptations, or fleeting impulses. He is the master of himself, and that is the highest form of strength. The man who controls himself becomes unforgettable, because silence backed by discipline carries eternal power. Law 6. The law of balance. Strength without care is cold. Care without strength is weakness. Balance makes you unforgettable. Most men fall to one side. Some give too much. They pour out endless affection, endless sacrifice, until they lose themselves in the process. These men are forgotten because what begins as devotion ends as weakness. Others swing the opposite way. They give nothing. They withhold affection, show no warmth, and mistake cruelty for strength. These men may be remembered, but not with love, only with bitterness. The Stoic man is different. He lives by the law of balance. He knows how to cherish without surrendering himself. He knows how to show care without becoming dependent. He respects others, but never more than he respects himself. This balance is rare. A woman never forgets the man who valued her presence, but refused to abandon his own identity. The man who showed tenderness, yet carried steel in his core. The man who could love deeply without ever losing his center. Balance creates permanence, because in that balance lies harmony, stability, and strength. The Stoic man embodies this. He proves that you can hold both care and power, both strength and gentleness, without being consumed by either. She will never forget the man who cherished her, yet never lost himself. Because balance is not only rare, it is eternal. In the end, most men are forgotten. They fade like whispers in the wind. The ones who begged, who pleaded, who broke under pressure, time erases them quickly. But the Stoic man endures. He is remembered because he lived by laws that outlast moments and outlast desire. The law of composure, staying calm in the storm. The law of self-respect, demanding dignity without words. The law of walking away, choosing silence over conflict. The law of purpose, living for something greater than pleasure. The law of discipline, controlling oneself above all else. The law of balance, cherishing without losing identity. These 6 laws do more than make a man unforgettable to women. They make him unforgettable to everyone, because they are the foundation of timeless masculinity. Picture it. She forgets the man who begged, the man who argued, the man who lost himself. But she never forgets the man who carried himself with dignity, who lived with discipline, who burned with purpose. That man becomes the measure by which all others are judged. Live by these 6 Stoic laws, and you won't just be unforgettable to women. You will be unforgettable to history.